Our next speaker has one of the most successful radio talk shows in America. He has millions of faithful listeners throughout the country, and he never fails to entertain. But even with his own success on the air, he's probably best known as Ronald Reagan's son. On his show and on the campaign trail, he's worked hard to support the values we share. He's helped elect men and women who know that support for the Second Amendment is not a campaign tactic, but the duty of every person who pledges to uphold the Constitution. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Michael Reagan.
Thank you. It is great to be here. You know, what a lot of people here probably do not know, back in 1962, I got my first limit of Dove with a double-barrel Winchester shotgun my father had bought me for Christmas the year before, right out here on Indian School Road and Scottsdale Road. And in 1963, on the San Carlos Indian Reservation, with a .243 my father bought me for my birthday, I shot the largest javelin in the state of Arizona. See, I was one of those kids that, you know, what do you get your son who has nothing? You get him a single shot .22 when he's 8, you get him a lever action when he's 10, and you go take him out in the afternoon and show him how to use them correctly and wisely. My father did that with me, and I've done it with my son Cameron, and enjoy every Labor Day going out dove hunting with him. I am blessed to have a father like Ronald Reagan. When you think that I was adopted into the family, every day I wake up, I thank God that Jimmy Carter wasn't looking for a son. You know, I think back on some great times with my father, the great things he did for so many people, not only here in the United States, but around the world. He understood what freedom was all about. He fought for it all of his entire life. All you have to do is go to the Czech Republic and look at 9,000 bunkers of the Czech Republic, all pointed inward to keep the Czechs in, not allow them to be free. He knew that. He wanted to make sure they were free. All you have to do is go to Berlin and stand in front of the Berlin Wall and understand that on August 12th of 1961, wherever you spent the night, you were there till 1989. He understood people wanted to be free and what they would do to be free. And this year, on November 9th, we will celebrate the 20th anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. Because my father truly understood what freedom was all about and was willing to fight for those freedoms. I look at the news the last few days and I see that the Brady organization is once again trying to paint the NRA and other organizations as we are the crazies. We need to have our guns taken away. We need to have our rights taken away. You know, back on March 30th of 1981, there were 4 people shot. 3 of them did not call for gun control. One of them was my father. I was saying to a friend of mine, Ollie North, a little bit ago, we were talking on the phone, I said, you know, if the Brady organization had been around when Cain killed Abel, they would have called for a 15-day waiting period on rocks. But it really is truly about freedoms. My father took away the fairness doctrine, which allowed the media to be free. I remember a lot of the things that he did. I also remember back again to March 30th of 1981, I went to our Secret Service agent in charge of my detail that day, and I said to Mike Luty, I said, Mike, how could this happen? How could my father be shot? How could the others be shot? And he said, Michael, we train every day to protect your father and people like you. But one thing we cannot protect against are the crazies that are out there. And the man who shot your father was indeed crazy. Well, it's interesting. The crazies now are not carrying guns, they're carrying legislation in Washington, Sacramento, Phoenix. carrying legislation across this country that don't want us to be able to protect ourselves, but instead want to take our protection away, our Second Amendment rights. In California, where we're going to have a ballot measure coming up on Tuesday, where the state of California, a blue state, will be the first state to say no to higher taxes in a recession as we defeat Proposition 1A. We are being threatened every day by the governor and the state legislatures that's saying if we don't vote to increase our taxes by $16 billion, they're going to reduce the policemen, the firemen, and of course the schools. I said that to my wife, Colleen, and she said, well, I've got a way to get around that. I said, how's that, honey? She said, well, if they do that, I suggest going out and buying another gun and getting a fire extinguisher. You see, we are well capable of taking care of ourselves if you only allow us to take care of ourselves. I worry sometimes that we look at elections and we get to an election and we elect a Ronald Reagan or a Newt Gingrich or whoever we elect, Michael Steele, and we stop. We say we've done our job and we walk away. While the other side never stops. They're like termites eating away at the foundations of freedom every single day of the year. What is great about the National Rifle Association, this organization here, is you don't stop either, and you cannot afford to stop. The country and the world needs you. My father was so proud of this organization and what they've done and what they are doing and stay doing. Please don't ever give up. Don't ever give up what you're doing. Keep up the fight. Keep us free. You are the organization that is driving the train. Don't ever, ever give up. Thank you so much for allowing me to spend a few moments with you today and share a few stories with you about my father. But if I could share one, going back to March 31st again, or March 30th, 1981, when I went in to see my father the morning after the assassination attempt, I walked into him and his eyes brightened up, and I looked at him, I said, how are you, Dad? And my dad looked at me and says, well, if you're ever gonna get shot, don't be wearing a new suit. And I said to him, why would you tell me that? Well, yesterday was the first day I wore that suit. And I thought because I was the President of the United States, they'd allow me to undress. But the last time I saw that suit, it was cut off of me in shreds in the corner of my hospital room. And I said, yes. He says, well, don't be wearing a new suit if you're going to get shot. And I said, where do we go from here, Dad? He says, well, the young man who shot me, Hinckley, I believe was his name. I said, yes. Well, I understand his parents are in the oil business. I said, yes, they are. Well, I understand that they live in Denver, Colorado. I said, yes. Do you think they have money? Well, I would hope so. And he said, well, do you think they'd ever buy me a new suit? Well, they never did. They never bought him the new suit that he wanted. But you know something? We're so lucky to have had my father be the President of the United States of America. God bless every single one of you for the support that you have given to our family over these many, many years. And I will tell you, this is one Reagan that will never give up. I will join your fight, and we will fight for those freedoms that are so near and dear to our hearts. Thank you, thank you, thank you.